Shabbat Shalom. How's everybody doing? Getting ready for Pesach, I hope. Shabbat Shalom out there in the land of the live stream. I am Chazan Sharon Brown Levy, always proudly representing Congregation Kol Ami here in Salt Lake City. Our Siddur tonight is Mishkan Tefillah, dwelling place of prayer. We're going to begin with a welcome that says how wonderful it is that we can all be together, whether we're here in the building or out there watching. Page 128, join me in Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manai, sheretachim l'miyacha. Hine Matov u'manai, sheretachim l'miyacha. Hine Matov, Hine Matov, ya la la, ya la la, la la. Hine Matov, Hine Matov, ya la la, ya la la, la la. Hine Matov u'manai, ya la la, la la, ya la la. Hine Matov u'manai, shevet achim dam yacha. Hine Matov u'manai, shevet achim dam yacha. Hine Matov u'manai, shevet achim dam yacha. Welcome once again and Shabbat Shalom. Our Kabbalat Shabbat experience continues on page 142 with the singing of Shalom Aleichem in a more traditional setting. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashari, Malachi Elyon, Yi Melech Malachi Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lechem Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Yi Melech Malachi Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Yi Melech Malachi Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedkem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Yi Melech Malachi Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And our Kabbalat experience continues just a couple of pages back on page 138. As we prepare to greet Shabbat, it is considered such an exciting sacred time in each week. It is as if we are getting married and witness a marriage between God and the children of Israel. And so we would rise on the final verse as we symbolically, metaphorically greet the queen. But we'll wait until we get to the final verse. We're on page 138, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Join in the refrain. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamol zacho b'diburecha, ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shim tiferet v'litila. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Verse 2. לקראת שבת לכו בנך, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5. התעוררי, 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 אורי, 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 שיר נא ברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Please rise for the final verse. בואי ושלום עטרת כלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני המשיגו אלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. As we are concluding our Kabbalat Shabbat experience, we will turn to page 120 and get ready to formally greet the Shabbat. As the sun goes down, we light our Shabbat Nirot. Make the circles with me as we all greet the Shabbat light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. Let's take a few moments now to stand and stretch a little bit and greet one another and wish one another Shabbat Shalom. Let's get ready to continue. I hope you're all greeting one another out there in the land of the live stream. I'm going to ask us to take our seats as we prepare to conclude our first segment and lead into formal Shabbat worship. We're on page 144. I ask you to respond to the Chatzi Kaddish, 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yalmad yivrach yidotei v'yamlich nachutei b'chayecha u'v'yomecha u'v'chayedecha beit Yisrael bagala bagala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam Nulal Me'anmaya Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach Ve'yitba'ar Ve'yitroma Ve'yitnaseh Ve'yitadar Ve'yitaleh Ve'yitalal Shmei Dikudesha Le'ila Min Kober Chata Ve'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran bi'arama v'merua. Amen. I invite you to please rise for the call to worship, page 146. Join in as soon as it begins. Ya-la-la-la-la, 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 ya-la-la-la-la. It is a beautiful thing just to be able to greet the onset of evening. So I would like for all of us to read together a more traditional translation. Page 148, let's read together in English. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Aravi. Shabbat Shalom and welcome. So good to have you with us. We're on page 150 as we had the opening to our worship and the gratitude just for the onset of night. We now talk about the great theme of God's great love for us, Ahavat Olam, page 150. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Purkim u'mishpati, Otam limadita. Malkein Adonai Eloheinu B'shochbeinu u'b'kuneinu Nasiach b'chulkecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla v'ahavatecha al tasir mimen le'olamim. Together, Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Turn to page 152, join in. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Ha'ed. Page 154. Please join in with the beautiful words of Deuteronomy, the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Together at the bottom, Adonai Elohechem Emet. After we are affirming our return of God's love for us with the V'ahavta, we now come to the theme of truth. As we accept God's truth, we prepare ourselves to be redeemed. Every single Shabbat, every festival, every weekday, we remember the miracle of becoming free. Not only do we have a huge celebration each year at Pesach, but every day, 365 days a year, we remember this amazing miracle. And as we prepare for this miracle, let us read responsively in English on page 157 at the bottom. I'll begin. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice, as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Page 158. If you don't know the words, it's quite all right. Yai lai lai is just fine. 158 at the top. Yai lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai la 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 la. Yai lai la la la, yai lai la la, yai la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'ili Madonna, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei vele, nora tehilot osei vele. Malechutecha uvanecha, v'ki hayam iti Moshe uMiriam, ze'elianu v'yameru, ze'elianu v'yameru, Adonai imelo le'olam ba'eh, Adonai imelo le'olam, le'olam ba'eh. Yai lai lai, one more time. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai la la lai la 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 lai, yai lai la lai lai, yai lai la lai, yai la lai, yai lai 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 lai. V'ne'emar ki fadadna et Yaakov, u'ki halo miyad chazak mimenu. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, God Israel. On page 160, we come to the great theme of protection. Not only does God love us with all of God's might, and God redeems us every day of every year, and especially at Pesach, God also protects us. So if you know the beautiful Hashkivenu in Hebrew and English, I invite you to join in. The words are based loosely upon the original text at the bottom of 160. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'ha'amideinu Shomrei lechaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, oh Adonai. Keep us from all harmful things, oh Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Beginning Hebrew. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'ha'amideinu shomrei lechaim, ufras aleinu aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. The closing of each page usually begins with the words Baruch Atah Adonai. That's called a Chatima. And I'm going to dedicate this beautiful Chatima to one of my dear mentors whose yahrzeit was recently. Chazan Shimon Goretz. Baruch Atah Adonai HaPores Sukat Shalom Aleinu HaPores Sukat Shalom Aleinu Yal Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim. And so the next piece of our service also is one of the selections taken directly out of the Torah. It is a commandment that we keep the Shabbat, a great directive, a conversation between God and the people of Israel, saying how important, so important is this covenant after we're taken from Egypt, that we must keep this covenant from generation to every generation. My favorite piece of Vishamru is the final line. It says, on the seventh day, Shabbat uses the word as a verb, God rested, which is the time of rest. And the final verb, vayinafash, is taken from the root nefesh, which means soul. And every Shabbat, we get a new nefesh, an opportunity to get a brand new soul. And so may your soul be renewed this Shabbat and each Shabbat. And so I would like to introduce a kind of a newish Vishamru. It's been around for a while, but we haven't done it here yet. And our choir is going to do it this fall at the high holidays because Rosh Hashanah will fall on Shabbat this year. I hope you enjoy it. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. Let's try that. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and a joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. I ask you please to join in on page 164 as we rise as one community for Amidah Tefillah, the standing section of our service. Page 164. Na 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 Svatay Tifta. Na 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 Ufi Yagi Dehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svatay Tifta. Na 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 Ufi Yagi Dehilatech. We turn the page. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei avoteinu v'imotzeinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ואלוהי ליה, האילה הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. Page 168 together. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה לחיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, שמח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. Page 170. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Together in English. You are holy. Your name is holy. And those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. We remain standing in silence as we continue through page 180 with the language of your choice, or feel free at this time if you wish to stand and close your siddur and pray the prayer of your hearts, Tefillah Shebalev. When you are finished, you may be seated. page 178. A prayer for great peace. Shalom Rab Yisrael Amcha Tasim Li'olam. Shalom Rab Yisrael Amcha Tasim Li'olam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lecha Shalom. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lecha Shalom. V'tov b'einecha livarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel and all peoples with your peace. And let us all say, Amen. It is now the time in our service as we are thinking of people who need healing, healing of soul, rifwat nefesh, and rifwat guf, healing of body. First, I will read the list of congregational names, and then I'll bring my hand gently in your direction. Feel free to rise when you're comfortable and mention someone who may not be listed here so that we can comfort you and acknowledge you. In our community this week, for Misha Berach, we are thinking of Gittel Leah bat Mashachana, David ben Sarah Leah, Harav Yehuda Leb ben Dina, Miriam bat Chesed, Miron Israel ben Rachel, Daniel Meir ben Chaya Etya, Basha bat Shirley, Baruch ben Sarah, David Dowsett, Yitzchak Figilski, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, Rachel Mitchell, Shari Pedersen, Pete Schwager, Josh Shapiro, Penny Spector, Adina Stern, and Judy Wolf. If you're thinking of someone, please mention someone today. For those mentioned aloud and then those mentioned only within our hearts, let us turn to our white Shabbat booklets as we continue to learn and hopefully also to love these healing selections. Let's take a look on page 14 in the back. My good friend, my dear colleague, Chazan Lisa Levine wrote this beautiful Misha Berach for healing, page 14. As you get to learn the words, please join in. They're all transliterated for you. Misha Berach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Misha Berach Imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel. May the one who blessed our father, may the one who blessed our mothers, hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Yishverach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Yishmerachim oteim, Sararif aleh v'rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Let us all say, Amen. One of our greatest blessings is the fact that we have wonderful people in our congregation who give beautiful words of Torah. I'd like to bring forth our beloved Dr. Carl Smoot to come forward and give our Devar Torah this evening. So grateful for you, Carl. This out of your way. Can you get by? Would you like my microphone, or are you okay with this?
This is fine, I'm sure.
We can bring it close because we want everyone to hear you. Thank you so very much.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom. So tonight is Shabbat Hagadol, the great Sabbath that precedes the Passover holiday. It starts tonight. I'm going to speak on two ideas that have been running through my mind over the past week, even though people tell me that it's probably better just to speak on one. Don't worry, though, I will keep it short. I will not extend it. So the events of Passover, followed by the destruction of Pharaoh's army in the Reed Sea, meant that we had really burned our bridges with the Egyptians. There was no going back to the old ways. We emancipated ourselves from slavery, rejected polytheism, and eventually forged a new covenant with the God of our ancestors. Yet there was the occasional longing for the familiar. When we were living Bamidbar in the wilderness. Do you remember Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments? When Moses went up on Sinai, and he was no longer there to contain the people's anxiety, Edward G. Robinson was quick to start making a golden calf. Spend a few months or years in the desert, a few days, I don't know, and anyone might look back on Egyptian bondage wistfully. The cantor was just down in the desert in the southern Utah. Leaving the old and forging a new identity is always painful and anxiety-provoking, but our ancestors had to do it if they ever wanted to mature. So Israel went on a hero's journey. We put aside the negative image that we were given by our oppressors and bravely reached out into uncertainty. And I want to claim that what Israel did corporately, each of us must do individually. If we listen closely to ourselves, we find that there are times when the old scripts fail, and we're invited to create something new. The hope is that what results is improved, authentic, or real, but there are no guarantees. And for a while, perhaps, all we can see in front of us is sand. The epic poem, The Wasteland, expresses these ideas beautifully. The First World War had destroyed Europe. What was formerly secure and understood by 1918 was smashed beyond repair. You could only find little hints of the past, of the structure of the past, in the broken stained glass and the rubble-strewn towns. And all of the king's horses and all of the king's men couldn't put it back together again. T.S. Eliot's poem expresses this anxiety of losing what was once comfortable and automatic and unquestioned. So what could be done? What direction could the world move in? Again, the reason for the discomfort and the dread was just that there wasn't a clear direction forward. People had to create something new out of the shards of the past. This is what it must have been like for our ancestors as well, looking out over a vast desert with no end in sight. In my clinical work as a psychologist, I see this all the time. People want to break free from something troubling in their past. So they start taking concrete steps to make change, but just before they cut the final link with something horrific or maladaptive, the old ways reassert themselves and become alluring, even if they're guaranteed to bring pain. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. For this reason, it was probably good that God cut our ties with Egypt permanently. Otherwise, we might have returned when things got tough. In our own lives as well, we've got to press forward. We can't give ourselves the option to go back. Fortunately, we know how the story of our ancestors ends. They were transformed and moved to a land of promise, a land flowing with milk and honey. And despite the different branches in Judaism today, we still share a vision of a transformed world that we inherit from them. For ourselves and our personal transformation, though, things may not be quite so clear. But forge ahead we must. The other theme I wanted to talk about comes from the Haftorah in Malachi and has some connection to what I just discussed. Malachi recognized that there's always a divide between the generations, something that must be bridged or transformed for the Jewish people to remain unified. He also understood that a strong and healthy society required strong and healthy family relationships. So how do we bridge the divide in our culture? How do we bridge the divide in our families? Older folks, like me, often find ourselves stuck in the old ways. Younger people, Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, Gen 2022, orient toward the world and each other in different ways. The reason I bring this up is because next week the old and the new are going to get together and we're going to have a festive meal together. We're going to celebrate our freedom from bondage. But I want you to think about how we can bridge the generational gap, what we can do to transform ourselves, to unify our families and unify our people. Malachi's answer is simple. We open our hearts. What he called the turning of the hearts of the children to the parents and the hearts of the parents to the children. So before your family gathers in a few days, search your conscience. Is there something negative you're holding on to that will color your interactions? Is there something from the past that affects you? Let it go. Try to see that spark of the divine in the other. Use this Passover to transform yourself, really connect around the table, and make the world one, at least in your house. Shabbat Shalom, and I'll say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Todah rabah. Beautiful. Carl, I should have had you stay up here because usually our board member reads announcements. Is it all right? Should I go? Do you want to read them? Oh, why not? You're not done. Thank you. Right here.
Okay. So, everyone, we need to thank our wonderful Cantor Brown Levy. For me, this is a miracle here in Utah. You should realize what we have. I'm going to make her blush, but it's true. And you know that too, right? Of course. So thank you, Cantor, for everything you do. And the invitations for our 50th anniversary gala are in your mail with an early bird RSVP deadline of April 14th. You can also add your greeting or advertisement to the Tribute Journal. The headline for the Tribute Journal contributions is the deadline is April 10th, my birthday. We'd also like to display your memorabilia of your experiences. For more information about how to order your tickets, sponsor a table, add a greeting, or submit your memorabilia for a 50th anniversary tribute, check your announcements, our website, or contact Galit in the office. So Passover events start this Sunday. In preparation for Passover, you can sell your chametz or donate it to Jewish Family Service Food Pantry. Donation bins are located in the lobby of Kolami through Tuesday, April 4th. This Sunday, the Rafi Schwartz Religious School will be holding a Passover pop-up shop from 8:45 a.m. to 10 a.m. and again from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. All proceeds benefit the religious school. And during classes, we'll be holding a school-wide mock Seder. So you better be on your game if your kids are gonna learn everything and hold you to it. Sunday evening, Kolami is partnering with the Bee Chais, that's clever, and the young professionals, and the young adults Chametz Away potluck event. See your announcement for details. In addition to services, you're invited to join us for a special second night Community Passover Seder at Kolami on Thursday, April 6th. Registration closes this Sunday, so make sure to RSVP after Shabbat. If you need a place to go for first night Seder or you have extra room at your table, contact Lisa in the office to make arrangements. And finally, seniors ages 65 and older are invited to join Cantor Brown Levy for a Passover-focused lunch and learn on Tuesday, April 11th. Please RSVP for that as well. For our April Schmooze event, we'll be attending a special off-site event at Pioneer Theater Company to see the 2019 Pulitzer Prize for Drama nominee for Best Play, What the Constitution Means to Me, directed by Kolami member Karen Asenberg. Check your announcements for more details. Save the date as well for a special interfaith music event with Cantor Brown Levy at Christ United Methodist Church on April 30th at 7 p.m. And summer will be here before you know it, I hope. We still, 800 inches of snow so far. Summer, we still have camp scholarships available for Jewish sleepaway camps. This is a really nice thing that somebody set up. We're offering $750 per week for first-time campers and $500 per week for second-year campers. We'll also be introducing Camp Kolami for children going into grades, between grades 1 and 7, the week of June 26th through 30th. Each day will have adventures, activities, and crafts that not only explore Judaism, but help build and strengthen bonds within our Jewish community. More information to come. Our congregational trip to Israel is just months away. We still have a few open spots. View the full itinerary and registration info on our website. And thank you again to volunteers, donors, members, and guests for your participation and support. Shabbat Shalom. A lot of announcements.
Oh, hey. Thank you. Oh, it's a great love fest here. It's wonderful. It's terrific to have you all here. I want to add a couple of brief things that are not listed on the announcements, and that is that, Pesach is not just about the Seders. We're going to have many of us sit first night in our homes, second night, God willing, here. At Kolami, and also there is a wonderful Pride Seder, which I'll be leading for the community through the JCC on Monday, April 10th, so I encourage you to register for that. But in addition to Seders, there's a part of the festivals, like Passover, that most people don't get to experience, and those are our festival morning services, right? And so our first morning service is Thursday, April 6th, and then another one Friday the 7th, and I know that's really tricky because a lot of people are working, but if you can possibly come, we need to make 10 to have that full service and a Torah come out of the ark. Otherwise, it's very difficult to have all those elements. And then again, the last 2 days of Pesach are April 12th and 13th, I believe. It's the Wednesday and Thursday of the following week. And the final day, day 8, includes Yizkor, which is a memorial service. So for those of you who are watching out there in live stream, those of you who are here tonight, please make it a point to try to come to as many weekdays as you can. This is so hard with those who work during the week, but if there's any way you can make it happen, we would so appreciate having you, if it's at all possible. I just wanted to add those because they're the hardest ones to get our quorum of 10. So come on out. We love having you. And the liturgy is glorious. You will hear prayers like you have not heard on Shabbat because you don't hear them on Shabbat. You hear them only on festivals. So come on out. That is a plug for our festival morning and Yizkor services. Check our website for details. 9:30 a.m., not too terribly early. Okay, we are going to do the concluding segment of our service, which is page 586 in the Siddur. And when the Aleinu is chanted, the ark is opened, and so I'm going to invite you, please, to rise. Page 586. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, ויגור עלינו ככל המונו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. 591, we sing together. ונאמר, you may be seated, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו It is now time to complete the mitzvah of memory. For those who shloshim, the 30 days of the recent time of their passing, has occurred at this time, and those whose Yahrzeitin, the annual anniversaries of their Yahrzeits, also occurring at this season. After I mention shloshim and Yahrzeitin, I will bring my hand once again in your direction and ask for you to stand if you're comfortable doing so. And those of you out in the live stream may also be thinking or mentioning names along with us. Shloshim occurring at this time. Eric Lynette, son of Alan and Debbie Lynette. Joel Shilkrat, wife of former member Sherry Shilkrat. Richard Josiah Tillery, son of Rachel Benater and Randy Tillery. Bertie Grace Benater, wife of Josiah Benater. And whose Yahrzeitin occur at this season. Rose Arnovitz, Lev Berman, Laura Brownstein, Barbara June Rosenblatt Burnett, Ada Mae Kahn, Max P. Cowan, Ben Doctorman, Sadie Elster, Suzanne Frank Goldsmith, Nathan Gus, Malka Huckberg, Alfred Huckstadt, Perry H. Hull Sr., William Lappin, John Jack Lehman, Sam Mark, Mark McGillis, Mikhail Davidovich Milyavsky, Irving Mirotsnik, Morris W. Morris, Bessie Rosen Myers, Isaac Philip Palmer, Rose Pellat, Valerie Penigin, Philip Perlman, Fira Roisengurt, Sophia Scheinberg, Chai Siegel, Dorothy Sozen, Robert Spivey, A. Larry Tannenbaum, and Marcus Winesoft. As I bring my hand in your direction, please feel free to rise if you're thinking of someone at this time and mention that person. So sorry, Carl. Zichronam letzadikim livracha. May the memory of all of our righteous be a blessing. And once again, for those mentioned aloud and those only within our hearts, and for whom there may be no one to say Kaddish, I invite anyone whose comfort it is to rise at this time, to join us, either to say all the words or simply the responses, page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemirabah, be'olma divera chirute, v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman karir, ve'imru, amen. Yehe shemei rabba mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya, yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh, v'yithadar ve'yithaleh ve'yithalal, shemei dekudesha verichu, le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata, tush bechata ve'nechemata, da amiran bi'alma ve'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, ve'chayim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all humankind, and let us all say, amen. Once again, thank you so much, Carl, for your wonderful devar and for your beautiful words. You make me blush. And to each and every one of you and all of you out there listening to us in live stream, so grateful that you're with us. I know Rabbi Spector feels the same. We're wishing all of you a very peaceful Shabbat and also a beautiful Pesach. Please, if you haven't registered to join us for Seder, we hope that you do soon. And our closing is going to be a more traditional Shabbat closing hymn. It's on page 628. It is typically sung only Friday nights, although some synagogues have used it in the mornings, but majority of them will sing this Friday night. Page 628, this is a little bit of a reimagination of the original 13 special values, the 13 principles of faith that are found in the Ethics of Our Ancestors, Pirkei Avot, as written by one of the greatest Jewish scholars of all time, Rabbi Moses Maimonides. He did not actually write Yigdal, but he wrote the principles of faith upon which Yigdal is based. And so we cite this wonderful scholar's words throughout many synagogues each Friday night. One of the main verses that has been changed is the final verse, which talks about the resurrection of the dead, but many newer Sidurim have brought that verse back. We'll just sing the verses that are here. We're on page 628, and even if you can't pick up all these fancy words, the melody is really easy to learn. The great Hasidic master, the Baal Shem Tov, said, even if you just sing Ay Lai Lai, your words go to heaven as well. Page 628. יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא ויהנה אל מציאותו, אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו, אין לו דמות תחות אנוכי אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו. הינו אדון עולם לכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומעביד את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמוה, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו. לא יחל יפאר ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים מזולתו. סופר ויודע סתרנו, מביט בסוף דבר בקדנתו. גומל איש חסד כמפעלו, נותן רשע רע כרישתו. ישלח לקץ ימים עדות עולם, כל חי ואיש יכיר ישועתו. חיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך הדיין שם נהילתו. Original verse, מתים יחיה ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. Before we officially conclude the service, I'm going to ask everyone to rise as we add one more piece of sweetness to Shabbat with our Kiddush. I invite you to rise for our Kiddush. Another fun fact, because I love to teach fun facts about prayer. Within the Kiddush, we not only are grateful to God for the time of rest, but we also say, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. You know those three words in the Kiddush? Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim? The remembrance of the taking out of Egypt. Every Shabbat, we are grateful for our exodus from Egypt. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחי לנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש. זכר ליציאת מצרים, קרבנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim, to life. Wait, we're going to do B'tei Avon very shortly. Your last chance at a challah this weekend. Before we get the flattened version, boy, will we miss Moshe's challah for 8 days. Okay, and they wrap it really well too. Okay, I'm going to say the motzi and I'm going to give you all a piece to enjoy. Enjoy it well. Coming around this way. You all know this hopefully by now. Join in with me, please. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei Avon. B'tei Avon is bon appetit and Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bim, bim bam. Who wants another piece? Ha ha! No? Okay, give it to him in time. Good Shabbos, everybody. Greet each other. Shabbat shalom, and come join us in the lobby for a little schmoozing after. Shabbat shalom.